Please join me in welcoming our distinguished commencement speaker and distinguished alum, Leonard Armato.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. I want to go off script for just a quick second. Dean Cole was nice enough to host a dinner for me last night, and we got to talking, and you know he does have a very sensitive side. And we sat alone for a minute, and he said to me, you know, I've worked really hard for all these students, all these years, and I'm so proud of them for graduating, but I really don't know if they actually appreciate me. Then I saw some tears welling up in his eyes. So, Dean Cole, stand up and let him know that you appreciate the work he's done for you throughout the course of these last few years. Congratulations. Anyway, listen, it's an incredible honor for me to be here today to speak with you. Congratulations to all of you, to your families. You've worked so hard throughout the course of the years to be where you are today. And what gift can I give you as you begin your journey? As Dean Cole said, my career has taken a varied path. I started as a trial lawyer and a business lawyer, and then I became a sports lawyer, a sports marketer, and then a sports entrepreneur, and now I am an executive in the footwear business. And the one thing I keep coming back to is the preparation that I received here at USD and the law degree that we have all received here at USD and what that provides for you. It is a ticket, it is a pass for you to explore anything you want to explore. And you are now at the beginning of an incredible journey. And that journey will take on a whole bunch of different routes, and ultimately you will be able to do exactly what it is that makes you feel great about yourself. So be excited and be ready for the next chapter. Now, one thing I want you all to think about is when you select a career or decide whether to continue a career, make sure that it contains a couple of elements. One of it is passion. Make sure that you are passionate about what you do, and also combine that with your mission. So passion means what you love to do, and mission really has to do with what makes you feel good about yourself. Because at the end of the day, when your head hits the pillow, you want to feel comfortable, you want to sleep well, you want to be at peace. And speaking of comfort, one thing that I want to urge you to do is ensure that you are really comfortable with whatever role you're playing. Think about whether you are comfortable fending for yourself and your family, or whether you want to do something different, maybe lead a company or have the responsibility or weight of others on your shoulders. That's something only you can determine. And if you think about breaking into a career, think about what it takes to do that. You are all advocates. You've learned in law school how to build a value proposition for yourself. And that value proposition is incredibly important as you move forward in the world. You're going to have to convince people to hire you. You're going to have to convince a client to take you on. And it's something you're going to have to learn to evolve over and over and over again. And you also have to make sure that it's targeted to whoever it is that you're trying to convince. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about my early career decisions, because that sort of led me down the path that I've gone on. When I graduated from law school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. My father was a university professor. He taught for 30 years at USC. And he loved to share knowledge with people. He would do it for free. He didn't care about the money. And I thought, well, you know what? I love to share knowledge too. I want to help people. But I also would like to be financially rewarded. So I'm going to go get a law degree. Now, I didn't know what I wanted to do with my law degree, but I knew that it was something that I could use to do whatever it is I ended up doing. So I started out in a law firm in San Diego. It was a great job. It was a firm called Sullivan, Jones & Archer. Now it's Sullivan, Lewin, Hill, etc. And I was a business litigator. I was put on one of the most complex cases in the world, and I was in the law library. And I was in the law library, I was writing memos, and I just didn't feel as if I was making a difference. I didn't feel like I was making an impact. I felt something was missing. So I just walked out of the firm one day, I hung up my shingle, and I was at a little house on First Avenue, one of those historic buildings, and I put it out in the paper for a secretary, and I had a part-time secretary, and I thought, what am I going to do? I want to make an impact, I want to make a difference. Well, I had played basketball when I was in college, and my college basketball coach called me up and said, you should be a sports lawyer. You know, a lot of these athletes are losing money, they need help, and you're the guy that could really make a difference in their lives. And I said, well, how am I going to do that? And he said, you know what? I'm going to tell you something. There's a guy that plays basketball for me. His name is Ronnie Lott. Now, he's a great football player, but I happen to know him because he's on my team. And I'm going to set you up with him, and you're going to figure out how to convince him that you should be his guy. And so I thought, wow, that's a daunting task because I don't have any experience and I don't know what I'm going to do. I said, what shall I say? He said, you'll figure it out. I'll set up the meeting. So here I was, a sole practitioner in San Diego, with a little office on First Street in a historic building, with a part-time secretary, and I'm going to go and try to convince one of the very top players in the NFL draft to select me as his agent. So I remember driving from San Diego up to Los Angeles, and I was going up the freeway, and my mind was racing. What's my value proposition? How do I figure this out? So I got into the meeting, and I sat down with Ronnie Lott, and he said, hello, I'm doing this as a courtesy to Coach Morrison. And so I figured the meeting wasn't starting very well. So I looked at him and I said, okay, I understand that. And he said, and by the way, I have a couple questions for you, because he had a list of questions because he had some people that kind of prepped him for the meeting. He said, number one, name your clients. Well, I said, well, I don't have any clients. And he said, well, what experience do you have in sports law? I said, well, I don't have any experience in sports law. And he said, well, tell me what prestigious firm you're with, because I'm sure you have backing behind you that can help support you. And I said, well, by the way, I have this little office in San Diego in a historic building, and I have a part-time secretary. It was not going well. So I started to think. I drew on my USD law degree, and I thought, what can I say to establish a value proposition with this guy? He said, I got to leave pretty soon, so do you have anything more you want to talk about? And I said, yeah, I want to talk about you. I want to talk about what it is that, tell me your dreams, your aspirations. And he said, well, you know, I'm going to want to be a great football player, and ultimately I want a second career, I want to be a businessman. I said, okay, that's fantastic, and you know, do you have high hopes for yourself? He said, yeah, well, I want to maximize my potential. I want to be the best I can be. I don't care about anybody else, I want to be the best I can be. And I said, you know what? I'll tell you what I could do for you. And I asked him a couple questions. I said, listen, how many clients do you think these fancy lawyers and agents that are trying to secure you as their client, how many clients do you think they had? He said, probably like 40, 50 or so. I said, right. And you know what? In the course of a day, if they treated all their clients equally, they'd be able to spend about 8 minutes, maybe 6 minutes with each of those clients. He said, yeah. And I said, and by the way, someone like you with all these expansive dreams needs more than 6 or 8 minutes. You need somebody that can devote 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and 365 days to you, to maximizing your potential, to allowing you to realize all your goals, your dreams, your aspirations. He said, okay. And I said, but I don't expect you to pick me just because I will devote all my time and effort and energy to you. I will make you an offer you can't refuse. I'll make you a no-lose proposition, and here it is. Let me for 30 days. Work hard for you, for free. I'm not going to charge you a dime, and I will prove to you in those 30 days that I am the very best person for you. And if at the end of 30 days you don't think I'm the best, we can shake hands, I'll walk away. There's no financial obligation or any obligation otherwise. Isn't that something that you just have to do? No risk to you. He said, okay, 30 days, do whatever you want.